The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances.
Are we live? What's good, great people? I am Ezel Moon, and I'm honored by the special guest that I have today. Today, our guest is someone working at the intersection of environment, policy, and equity. Frederick Johnson. He is an environmental equity strategist, and he is committed to ensuring that all communities, especially those historically overlooked, have a voice in shaping the environmental future. I want to bring to get to the stage. He's not just an environmental strategist. Environmental equity strategist, but he's also a dear friend of mine and honestly a kind soul. And like I said, his words are worth more than gold. And his well, you'll see when he gets to the stage. Frederick, everybody.
Blessings, everyone. Blessings. Truly grateful to be here. Always an opportunity and truly filled with gratitude whenever me and Brother Ezel are able to share space.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. How you feeling today?
Blessed and highly favored, man. You know what I mean? I
Yes, sir.
honestly and overcome with, I think gratitude is going to be the word of the year, but moving with intention as well. So grateful to be in a space to receive the things we manifest for.
Yes, sir. Now, can I ask you really quickly to get us started on this interview because you know not too many people have not knowledge. How did you get the name of Tree?
No problem at all. So my family are Senegalese and Haitian sharecroppers by way of Louisiana. I was the largest baby boy, and they called me Tree because I was just large. Uh, Years later, after school and working in professional spaces, and then coming to DC and also working in more policy focused spaces, I realized that my identity wasn't directly related to my profession. And that's where I started getting immersed into nature and the practice of horticulture and biophilia and biophilic design. And Tree, a name I was given as a child, became to get reborn here in these new spaces. So now I run a local nursery. I teach our community about the power of the land and how to be reconnected to nature and how to grow not only plants but also different herbs and things like that, and understanding that the same life around us is related to the life within us. So understanding how we water ourselves and how we water our plants is all universal in the way we nurture our souls.
Talk about a way to start off an interview. That is an amazing quote. The same life around us is the same life that is within us, and we definitely must nurture what is around us so that we can make sure that we are nurturing ourselves. How does that look like, today? How do you quote unquote water yourself as time moves forward for you?
That's ironic because I hold this segment on my page where the leaves be, where we go into community and we ask a lot of people, regardless of age, how do they water themselves. And I'm rarely asked that question, and I think it evolves from time to time. But right now, how I water myself is being patient with myself. I think how you start your day is really essential for me. So whether that means that we're waking up for prayer, and then we may go for a walk, right? Because we want to make sure we don't go back to bed or waking up and we lift something heavy, as I know you can relate to. And all of those things, whether we're reading a book, right? I'm just finally finishing The Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. Phenomenal read if anybody has not read it yet. But I think there was this recollection that came to me, I want to say about 5 or 7 years ago, and understanding that we have to feed our temple as a whole, holistically on a daily basis, right? You can't just feed your body well and not feed your mind, right? And you can't just feed your mind and not just feed your body, but then you don't feed your spirit. I think that those three components of our human existence are what ground us and are what are going to continue to ensure and protect our peace.
You know, it's very interesting that you're just finishing that book. I myself just recently finished the book, but the book that I read was the autobiography of Gucci Man, and
That's a
that
good
was
read.
it's a good read.
That's a
It's
good.
a
It's up
good
there with that
read.
50 Cent autobiography, but that's a good
I'm
read.
I'm actually moving to that one next because of the fact
Phenomenal.
that
You got to
I
read
was
that, then you read Becoming to balance it out.
yeah, I will definitely do that because you have to have balance. It's really
Yes,
interesting.
it's essential.
It's essential. It's essential. You know, I when I think of our, you know, friendship, right? I definitely laugh because of the fact that inside my phone you are saved as Kakarot, and I'm 99.9% sure I'm probably Vegeta in your phone.
You know,
So
for 1,000%, you're a Vegeta in my phone. 1,000%. We be hitting our goddamn trap fusion high. You feel me? Getting our Gogeta on. You know. If you know,
literally,
you know.
if you know, you know. And it's always interesting to, you know, to see what those the friendship dynamics are between people. And I've always wondered this, you know, about anybody who has decided to call me a friend. What exactly do you see in me that is reflected inside of you?
You got the questions today, man. It's a long list, and when I was breaking bread with the brother before we went on live, I was telling him that it was very real that we were cut from similar cloth. I don't know that much about your background in its entirety, but what we have been able to share in dialogue and reflection, it's understandable that when you come from where we come from, it's difficult to find a brotherhood that is genuine,
Yeah.
right? Especially in this city, in a space like DC, where a lot of the relationships are transactional and you're not being received in a manner that is unapologetically unconditional,
True.
right? And I think that that was one of the main things. I'm a person that doesn't have a lot of friends, right? Like like if I know you for a good amount of time and my spirit feels safe with you significantly, then you're family to me. And that's a rarity. And I'm grateful to call you a brother in this space. The other piece is that what people don't know is that Ezel and I, we live together. Right. And much of the traditions that come with the Iron Sanctuary come with a brother pushing you beyond your what you believe is your limitation. And every time we share that space, we push each other to be stronger, right? If we are not meant to be strong in body, then it's a pretty good chance we're not meant to be strong in will. And I think we continue to push each other to make sure that we can be the strongest beings we can be because we both understand that there are people depending on us.
Amen to that one. Just like the same race. Just like the same race.
Exactly, exactly.
Let's get into, you know, your career path, and what, you know, especially when it comes to in the environmental equity. Can you describe what that, you know, what that means to you at
Hmm.
this point in your life, you know,
Oh, so
versus when you first engaged with it?
for sure. So to give context, I was pre-med for most of my time in undergrad. Got into some post-bac programs that were going to streamline me into medical school. But in my last year at the phenomenal Xavier University, I was interning during a summer for a cardio surgeon. And we sat down and he told me clear that there's no money in healthy people because the Western form of medicine does not focus on building solutions within the body, but focuses on prolonging them, right? However you want to see that, it's not usually not done to heal people. It's usually done to make sure that we're combating symptoms without trying to figure out how do we make sure that this person is able to be healed in the full capacity of that. So I transitioned into to law or the pursuit of law, and because I thought it would be a more proactive solution for the health and the thriving thrivance of our community. Getting deeper into that path, I was like, you know what? I don't know exactly what type of law I want to practice. So I started doing paralegal work at a police brutality firm and realized that, this is another profession that is rooted in trauma. And for my spirit, that was just not something that I could commit to. So later, I was like, you know what, let me get back into my community organizing. Let me get back entrenched into the practices that were a part of my upbringing as a child and started working for my local council member. Got immersed into this process or this discipline called urban planning, this science of how communities and populations engage with the surrounding and built and non-built and natural environment around them. And I was like, okay, how do we ensure the safety of our community by building safe spaces and making sure that those places and spaces are stewarded by the same people that they were impacted by? Because most likely they understand and can curate the best solution to ensure that pollution on every scale, whether it's visible or non-visible, is tackled at, again, at an equitable level. So this is where we start talking about environmental justice, right? The environmental justice principles are something that are not new. This is something that was created or established, if you will, I want to say around the late 90s. However, when you come from our communities, environmental justice is something that's rooted in our practice and in our existence, right? When Dr. King started having conversations, and Malcolm X and Fannie Lou Hamer and even Harriet Tubman, when we're talking about conversations about making sure that land is and our engagement with land is done in a manner that's not extractive, but is done in a manner that is thoughtful, that is conscious, ecologically conscious, to be specific. And all of those components, all of those ideologies are what built environmental justice. Environmental equity was something that I came about, or that was something that came about during my time in grad school. And I was studying environmental law, but also studying environmental policy and the way that we, again, how we interact with space, but ironically, how public sector, private sector, how local government and regulatory agencies, they I'm not going to say they're not prioritizing the health of communities, but communities are usually not at the forefront of how space evolves, right? When we think about gentrification, when we think about pollution on every scale, whether it's air, water, soil, there are multiple facets that those who have been historically impacted can bring to the conversation. But unfortunately, they're not in a spaces of quote unquote power. They're just they're spaces created for them to be heard, but they're not spaces for them to be influential components, influential leaders in way spaces are led and how they're developed and how they're designed. So environmental equity was something that we're like, okay, let's think beyond justice, right? Because unfortunately, justice usually operates in a reactive manner, right?
Yes.
When we think about the prison industrial complex, when we think about the nonprofit industrial complex, most of the time you're seeing a lot of combatants from community towards these constructs because we continue to be pushing back and I'm not saying that no matter that it's not needed, but even again, like the civil rights movement, for an example, people were fighting for civility, to
Right.
be treated in a
To be
civil
treated like
manner,
humans. Yep.
right?
Right.
So when we think about equity, what does it mean to think beyond that? Right? What does it mean when we incorporate a radical imagination and explore the solutions beyond our reach and beyond what has been traditionally designed? And how do we evolve from these Western constructs of how space is meant to be, quote unquote, developed, right? At some point, we can't prioritize industry and profit over planet and people, and that inversion is where environmental equity, for me, is leading that conversation and those movements.
You know, I actually had a question for you that would have gone down a path, but I really want to actually go just a little bit further in another direction.
Mhm.
Can you give us an example, of a time where you balanced community needs with policy advocacy and technical program requirements?
There's There's a few examples, but I think I want to talk about something that we're recently discussing in my work, and that's the impact on data centers.
Mhm.
For those that don't know, data centers are the heartbeat, if you will, of AI. And as it seems, humankind, especially within the Western world, is becoming extremely dependent on AI, whether it's for a design or to have a thinking partner or for all of the above, a graphic designer
Or
or
therapy.
yeah. I mean, you got legal assistance as AI
Legal
now,
assistance.
so it's a conundrum of sorts, but
Mhm.
it is a useful tool. Unfortunately, the way data centers have been designed and built is at the expense of the planet and is at the expense of of communities, regardless of what you look like or where you come from. If you're built, if not, if you're built, if a data center is built in proximity to your home, it's a pretty good chance it's going to be affecting your water quality. It's a pretty good chance it's going to be louder than what it was before. It's a pretty good chance you're going to have bright lights being shined into your home, like you're seeing in areas like Virginia. And there was one that was going to be proposed in Memphis, but gr- thanks to the great work of the NAACP, as well as with our support and Congressman Pearson, we were able to make sure that that data center wasn't built. And I think that is one example. When we think about technology in a way that is done in conjunction with the preservation of the planet and the preservation of the collective public health, there are multiple examples across the world where we can pull from. Hopefully, one day here in this country, we can see that, whether that is us exploring what microgrids look like and understanding that we can not only farm our own food, but we can farm our own energy, right? And relying on a industrial form of energy it does not put us at a scale of vulnerability when done in a scale of diversity. When we think about that, farming, energy farming on a scale that is not just at the industrial level. When we think about transmission lines that are, 3 stories tall. But again, all of that is to say that the way data centers have been designed, where you are putting a slab of concrete that's almost an acre large, and then you're building 2-story buildings with minimal windows, and then you're having nuclear generation that's down the street, and you're saying that, okay, this is going to power the AI sector of, a large CBD. At some point, we have to realize that this is not the only way this could be done. There are enough great minds in this world, enough great minds in this country, there are enough great minds, in this state for that matter, that have enough creative optimism for us to explore what it could look like. And that's what we're exploring right now, whether it's, reaching back and thinking about ancestral architecture and spiritual architecture and trying to figure out, okay, what type of materials could we use that prioritize the life and well-being of the planet, and also is going to be a space that is going to teach, that is going to be a space of community. Most of the time, or as of right now, data centers are not that in any capacity. They're very much just profit and just technology. But like I was speaking on a Senate hearing earlier today, or a House hearing earlier today, at some point we have to make sure that it isn't just about the money, right? It can't just be about industry saying that this needs to be expedited, but we need to do it in conjunction with an ecologically conscious mind and a human-centered heart.
It's so interesting that you say that, but it's of one thing for certain, two things for sure, that we have very much seen that the higher up in government you go, or the more interactions that you have with governance, that money is so much the center of things,
Hmm.
that it that humanity seems to just be just further and further, like stripped away further and further. Like I said, the higher and higher you go.
Hmm.
um do you find yourself in engaging with people that have that thought, that reflect that thought process, the more you go to the hill? Or do you just and how does having those talks, how does it how does it impact your psyche as you continue to move forward?
I think that, and I had this conversation with a brother of mine. For some reason, democracy, there's no space for your spirit in democracy.
Mm.
When we operate in a space of love, when we operate in a space of healing, unfortunately, the mechanism and machine that is government, there's no real space for that. So, how are my conversations? Authentic, transparent, inquisitive. They are rooted in community because even though I may not be from these spaces I'm advocating for, they look like where I'm from.
Right.
And they look like where my mother's from. And they look like where my father is from. And there is this continuous recollection where even throughout the diaspora, injustice looks the same to a certain extent. It's just either larger or it's just extremely more concentrated. When we think about the pollution of gas facilities along the Nile, you're seeing that same scale of capitalism of land reflected in Louisiana in Cancer Alley. I don't think that's a coincidence. I also don't think it's a coincidence that it's the same entities doing similar scales of pollution. They're just doing it in different countries to people that look the same. So I have to stay optimistic because it's difficult for me not to bring self to this work. And I think now is a better time than ever to understand that if we do not ensure our communities are safe on the physical level, it's a pretty good chance that our physical bodies are not going to be safe either.
That is absolutely amazing. And you definitely continue to just drop really amazing words of wisdom throughout this interview, brother. I do want to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go into, what does real community empowerment look like versus tokenistic engagement. So, as we say in all episodes, commercial.
WSAN Radio, the soul of America and beyond. Join DJ Ron G and the WSAN crew every day for the Ron G Morning Show, Funk Friday, and Gospel Brunch Sunday. From local heroes to national guests, WSAN Radio connects you to the pulse of our community. One song, one story, one soul at a time. WSAN Radio, where music, motivation, and movement come together. Streaming live, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and WSANradio.com.
Got me together with this two-piece. It's the good leggings, no see-through business.
And we are back. Once again, thank you so much to all of our sponsors. And if in fact you would like to advertise with us, make sure you guys shoot a message over to the United Front Network. We definitely do have spaces in our upcoming shows all throughout the network. Now, where we left off, we were going into what does real community empowerment look like versus tokenistic engagement that sometimes gets called participation. You being so immersed within your sector, what would you say those things are?
I'll work backwards. I think the term tokenism is directly related to someone who shows up for an opportunity and is
Mhm.
not fully entrenched. Um, and in the nonprofit sector is this term called helicoptering, right?
Mhm.
Where someone who wasn't a part of a movement can soar over the people or the communities or the groups that set the pavement and did a lot of the work. And now these entities can drop in the front of a movement, and they're most likely the ones that are going to get quote unquote funding. Right. And that's where we see a lot in the environmental justice spaces, especially when you think about the Justice 40 and the Inflation Reduction Act. There were a lot of organizations that didn't do EJ, but they were able to put EJ on some papers based upon their quote unquote service that they were doing. And we're
Mhm.
taking money, not taking money, receiving money that could have been used in a manner that was going to directly support those who were doing the work. Um, Speaking for myself, it's difficult for me to say that I you could just do the work from your profession, right? I know a plethora of different professionals who don't solely root their service in their work. I know plenty of doctors who do work beyond just the medical field, right? I know plenty athletic trainers who do more than just train athletes on fields, right? I know plenty of council members and elected officials who do work beyond just advocating for policy and doing a once a year turkey run that actually do work on a weekly and monthly basis. To speak for myself, my mother and I started our own restorative justice program about 7 years ago, based in Los Angeles, called Workforce Development Center. And that's focused on finding housing and employment services for those who are recently incarcerated. Again, as a byproduct of individuals who were rooted in community service for decades, even before my inception. Like I said in the earlier parts of this interview, it's been a part of my upbringing, and her being able to find a way for us to be able to serve our communities as well as build generational wealth is one of the many lessons I've been able to learn from my mother. Something else is the nursery that I was able to create. The goal was never to sell plants. The goal was never to design spaces that were untraditional to having nature, whether this is art galleries or concert stages or runways. Like these are untraditional spaces to have plants. But the goal was always to know that the life that you care for within yourself can be a small reminder in the life that is in your direct proximity. When I first started selling plants, because a lot of my day from 9 to 5 is working on policy, and then I'm selling plants from 5 to 9. One of my fondest memories and earliest memories of when I started selling plants and doing these 12-hour days is that there was a young lady who was walking past, and she had some health ailments, and she walked up to my booth and she was like, "This brightened my day." And she grabbed the plant, and I was like, that's your plant. And I saw her recently, and it's interesting to see how people are reminded of how precious life is by something so small that can get larger, right? Whether you have a seed and it grows, or a propagation, because that's more what we do with plants. If you have a propagation that started as one leaf and now it's 7 feet long, or if you have like the cinnamon tree next to me, if it was, just a branch and now it's something that can grow taller than you. I think all of those things are a component of service. So I think thinking creatively with the space that you have, thinking creatively with the opportunities that are at your disposal is more than enough for you to be able to serve yourself. And I think that when we don't put ourselves at the forefront of being served, it's a better opportunity and a more glorious opportunity for God to use us as servants.
You know, it's a blessing that you are in these communities doing exactly what it is that you are doing. But I do, as someone who cares about you, right? I wonder how you navigate the emotional labor that often comes with frontline community work, especially when dealing with long histories of environmental harm and systemic disinvestment.
Mhm. By being honest, by being honest, and not promising solutions, but understanding that, again, like I said before, when I show up to a space, especially a space that I may not be directly from, I'm saying I'm here to be a vessel. I'm here to be an asset. I'm here to be a tool. Like, please use me. My discipline is urban planning. There's not a lot of urban planners that come from our spaces. There's not a lot of individuals who understand zoning law, or let alone know how to interact with zoning and planning and land use departments, or have access to land use attorneys. Right? Like that's just something that's just not in our disposal at an ample scale or amount. So moving in these spaces genuinely, and moving in these spaces selflessly, is what we do, right? We're meant to show up and be of service, right? We're not here for a title. We're not here for recognition. One of my greatest elders is he said that we're not here for the accolades. If you are here and you determine greatness by an award, you should just leave this classroom, because we're here to learn and we're here to teach, and that is it. And for the most part, you should be doing a lot more learning than teaching. I am I am a prime example of that.
You are. You really are. Um, what gives you hope, man? Like
Shit.
honestly, what gives you hope in the
Hey
like in the
man,
current
same
landscape?
man. Hey
Like
man,
what's
same
give you
man.
like what's giving you hope in this current landscape of environmental justice work? Like are there rising leaders, movements, or
All
you know
over the place, all over the
i-
place, all over the place. I think that, yes, are there rising leaders all over the place? Are there rising movements all over the place?
innovations? You know what I mean? Like
I think the greatest, I wouldn't say the greatest hope, but one of the most inspiring hopes is, and I hate to sound old, but it is those coming up. If I'm being honest, I think that there, what we've been able to learn in our spaces as I don't want to call us leaders. I want to keep it humble, honestly. If I'm being honest, like being in play, being as placeholders to make sure that people in our community are safe and protected, I think is a phenomenal opportunity. But I think people like Congressman Pearson, the young woman who is I'm forgetting her name, from Texas, people were being unapologetically themselves,
are you
is
talking about
what gives
Jasmine
me hope.
Crockett?
There we go.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's so funny. I interviewed her, but yeah, yeah,
Yes.
bro,
Yes,
you
there's, and that's just in one field, right? Like there's
yeah,
multiple examples of that in every discipline across the country and across the world,
absolutely.
who are holding fire to people's feet, and in other
Right.
words, holding them like to the highest scale of accountability, and they're spiritually sound. And I think that's the piece. I think that one thing that I'm not going to say that we missed because it was before our time is that many of our leaders were spiritually sound, and they weren't moving in a space that was led on capitalism. It wasn't led on getting the largest bag or being the flyest person. It was rooted in service. And Saul Williams says this often, right? Like many of our leaders are not on dollars, right? Are not on coins, right? Many people didn't need the money to make a movement start. They just saw the power in their presence and led with that. And the past and the present and the future gives me hope, right? Because history repeats itself. We are not going to be in this internal cycle that we are experiencing right now. Even though it may seem bleak, if I'm being honest, this is like, the last hoorah of what could be considered trauma. Right, across the country. This is
the
the last hope.
the the darkest before dawn.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And we have a lot more at our disposal. And as we grow, we will continue to do so. And we have to. Right? I think that I haven't been blessed with the opportunity to have children, but I want to be confident that the future we're building is going to be peaceful in the one we're experiencing.
Absolutely. Hey, are you able to hear me? Is the audio good on your end?
If I'm being honest, I might be on, I might be on 1%.
I think that might be why. I felt like we were losing your audio for a second. Uh-oh, he froze on me. It's fine.
Hey, how
What's
you
going
doing?
on? Pretty
Not much.
good.
Our
Did
guest is
he?
having a little technical difficulty there. Oh, I guess I should turn on my camera. Oh,
Hey, what's going on, RG? This
not
is
much.
what are your thoughts on the interview so far?
That guy's amazing. Where are you finding those amazing humans at, dude? Because
Listen,
he is
man.
talking about stuff I had never heard of. And I'm like, is that even a thing? You know what I mean? And that's why I
Yes.
watch the show, because you find these people who are doing stuff I never, ever thought about. Like, ever. Like, yo. It's like,
The beautiful thing about like why I love my show. The beautiful thing about why I love my show so much is because of the fact that
all right.
like I'm able to sit down with people who are just amazing in whatever fields or sectors that and so it's great. And also what's always cool is like those moments where people will mention someone that I've
Yeah.
interviewed before. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I've interviewed Jasmine Crockett. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I might drop a clip about that some point in time in the future. He has so many quotable moments inside of this interview within the time
Yeah.
span that we've been sitting here. Like
This
it's been
guy
absolutely
he's
great.
deep. He's almost poetic in the way he mentions stuff. Like everything he does is based in his belief and his spirit. And then when he was able to circle back around and tie his name into his work, oh, dude, much dude.
And
Wow.
then what's but it's all that cool stuff aside. That's amazing and all, but he ducked before he could get this question about what he's doing for Valentine's Day. Don't think I ain't know. Don't think I don't see the plan, big dog. Don't think I don't see the plan, big
well
dog. I'm
played,
sorry.
sir.
You ducked me when as soon hey man, full screen on me. Full screen on me. Full screen.
Yeah,
Real
there you
fast.
go. Oops, wrong person.
Yep, full screen. Yeah, hey, don't think I don't know. You ducked before you could get the Valentine's Day question. Well, we was about to get into all of that. I'm so glad. Yes, and listen, brother, environmental justice, community science tools, all of these amazing things. And thank you so much for what you said about AI. Sincerely speaking, it's very very pertinent for us to be aware that when we utilize all of these different AI tools, we are in fact negatively impacting the environment. We are literally, it's like we're withdrawing from our community resources. So just to be very, very, transparent with you guys, please keep that in mind. Everyone who's watching this in the future. But my guy, the Kakarot to my Vegeta. You ducked me, bro. On that. Don't think I don't know. You better charge your phone up. You got about one more minute. You got one more minute. I'm gonna be right here.
He's gonna have real technical difficulties. See, you trying to put some dirt on this man's name.
Man,
This man
I ain't trying to hear none of that technical nothing.
Put dirt on this brother name. What is going on, sir?
No, man. But before we do close this thing out, because I feel I don't know if he's gonna be able to jump back on or not, but hopefully he does. He I do want to be very clear, like that he does a lot, man. Like he literally, like earlier today, I'm one of the things that I really do love and appreciate about him is the fact that he came from literally talking to the house, and was like, you know what, I'm going to I'm definitely going to do the interview today. I'm going to sit down, make the time. And for those of y'all who don't know, um he really is on the hill fighting for this environmental justice and equity. So
Mhm.
um before we close this thing on out, I do want to give him his flowers and just make sure I say thank you, man. For real, for everything that you're doing. Um and
And please invite him back, bro. If he has the
I
opportunity to come back, please have him back because that was amazing, very amazing. So
absolutely. So we'll definitely round to this one in the future. We're still gonna upload this piece because honestly speaking, I wholeheartedly enjoyed it. And I hope you guys did as well. But yeah, man, we can go ahead. We'll close this thing on out. Let me do my little outro thingy.
wait. You don't no. You have to give these people inspiration. Just because your guest ain't here, you gotta give words to the future, bro. You don't just to sit this one out, brother.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Ezel, what words would you give to the future about becoming a leader and becoming the person that manages their own destiny? Go. I'm putting you on the
Okay.
spot. ISO.
Okay. All right. About being a leader and managing your own destiny. It takes a steadfast Catholic spirit, a self-abnegation and self-sacrifice. It takes kindness, empathy, understanding, and it takes a growth mindset for you to be the leader that the world needs for you to be. It takes all those exact same things and you being that to yourself for you to be the leader that you need to be. Um, if if you want to take your destiny into your own hands, you have to start from a place of acknowledging that you don't know everything and that you may not have all the tools. But with that growth mindset, that thought process of, okay, I'm going to acquire these things along the way. I'm going to use humility um, to and ask and open up my thought process to receiving information from different places and being able to sift through that information and say, this is important, this is pertinent to me, this is what I can apply to myself and what I can apply to the space that I'm in, and utilizing it. I'm someone who, even as I have done these interviews over the years, I still will sit and listen to people who are way further than me and will give me
Oh, here we
yes,
go. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, he is in fact back.
Yes, sir.
Love it, we love it, man.
Hey
I would.
man, they trying to cut a brother White down, but we got power, baby.
We
We
got
got
power,
power.
baby. We got power, man.
We got
I,
power, man.
man,
Let's do it.
I just literally did a whole thing while we was about to close out the show and just say it was gonna be a part two, but my man RG, he did it. He's like, "Oh, okay, well, you gotta leave words of wisdom." And so then we went into it. But guess what, man? I'm glad you're back. I did have like just a few more questions for you,
Let's
but
do it.
let's do it, man. Let's do it. So what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I'm leaving to New York Fashion Week tomorrow. I'm gonna be walking the runway for some black designers coming out of Johannesburg and the Congo over the Christmas break. I was out there with a creative collective called Greetings From, which is a cultural collective based here in the States. But the idea is we go across the world and we collab with artists on the ground. I was out there with dancers, rappers, singers,
Mhm,
songwriters,
mhm,
painters.
mhm.
I'm a biophilic sculptor, so I build large installations with plants and flowers that are freestanding, and I was able to do that and build frames for a lot of the visual artists that were out there on the continent. And a lot of those designers that we collabed with, we also brought some designers from the States out there. A lot of the pieces that they collab with are going to be showcasing at New York Fashion Week. So they're getting me out of retirement and putting me back on the runway and having me style again, which is going to be a bag that I got to dust off. But we making it
Man,
happen.
you gonna make it happen. I know you're gonna kill it. Now I
Oh
now
yeah, for
see
you.
see look, listen, y'all. I'm in different circles, right? I'm the one that gets to be laid back and everything like that. But between him and I get to be the messy friend. So you was in South Africa, and
Yes, I was in
then
South Africa.
and now you back at New York Fashion Week. Who is she?
So, I'm just so
Who?
focused on my dean, brother. I'm just focused on my dean, man. I couldn't even tell you what her name was, man. Hopefully her name's Opportunity. Hopefully her
Oh,
name is Peace. You feel me?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now
Hopefully her
about that.
name is Discipline. You feel me?
Mm, mm,
Mindfulness.
mm,
Hopefully that is her name.
mm.
Mashallah.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you later.
One of these days, but yeah, nah,
Yeah.
I ain't got the energy for it, man. We out here just trying to be the best we can with the opportunities God's blessed us with.
Amen, amen. Now, where's my ticket though? Like, I'm confused
Oh,
because
that's easy, man. I'll have your front row and a good pair of pants.
I feel like that's a shot, and I'm like, but I
You
do
know
want.
you like the tight pants. And that's coming from a brother who wear tight pants.
Dog, it's not on purpose. I literally just keep listen, y'all. Every time I'm in the gym, we squat. No matter what, you have to. Just trust me on this one. If you do, you'll get those problems. Okay. But yes, you wear tight leather pants. I ain't never wear no tight leather pants in my life.
Hey man, as a
He
brother who
does.
squat over 400 as well, man, sometimes the pants be tight.
Yeah.
But I've been able to balance it with a flare bell bottom. You feel me? So it's a little slimmer
Ah.
on the thigh, but it open up around the knee. You feel me?
But but my question is, what's up? What's wrong with the okay, I get
Talk to
it.
me.
Why not? So just so I'm clear, Slim Straight is just out of fashion
You don't need to do that no
altogether.
more. You don't need to do that no more. There's no reason for that. And that's coming from a brother who is a stylist. You ain't even do that no more. I can get you in some phenomenal boot cut pants, good taper leg, soft taper, not crazy. Right? Not crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be real tight around the ankle. You know what I mean? Doesn't need to be real tight around the ankle. Okay? It doesn't
He
need to be
really
that. Not at this big age, baby. You make too much money for it to be tight around the ankle. It could be, you know what I mean? Okay. You know what I'm talking about. You pick it up and put it down. Yes,
I
sir.
I hate the fact that you really do this. So you really are giving me great fashion advice for my
Beloved,
future.
I'll take you to one of my tailors, man, and get you right in 35 minutes, man.
Man, I'm already knowing. We
But we got
definitely
to
gotta.
start from scratch because we can't add on fabric to what you got because that's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right. I definitely gotta upgrade my style. I'm rocking with you. But yeah, let me get one of them tickets. I'm coming to Fashion Week. I want
Come
what's it
on,
called.
man.
I
We
just
on
want
Fashion Week. We gonna be in there. Noir Fashion Week. Shout out Trap Hill. Shout out Urban Zulu. We out there with the good fabrics and the good cuts. You feel me? And the good and all that. You feel me?
yes, sir. So before we close out though, we gotta go into the reason why I do this, which is philanthropy, garnering support
Hmm.
from the audience and putting it towards a charity or nonprofit that you care about. What
Hmm.
charity or nonprofit would you like to spotlight today, and why is the cause that it faces so important to you? I know you said you want to take into a whole nother different direction, so the
We
floor
gonna
is
take it
yours.
to another level, man. I think instead of highlighting just one, I'm gonna provide an opportunity. So I work on grants from time to time. And one of the projects that I'm leading for this year or for this cycle is a grant that's focused on planting trees and the reforestation of environmental justice communities throughout DC, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. The purpose of this, like I said before, is to make sure that we're able to educate our communities on environmental justice, develop pipelines for employment for our communities to get more immersed in green spaces, as well as maintain and rebuild a lot of the green spaces we already have in our community that have just been ignored. So their deadline is on February 27th. If you're interested, please feel free to send me a DM and I will send the application to you. And I can also support if you have any questions. The deadline again is February 27th. We need all of you to apply as much as you would like, right? Within your scope. And again, you're not going to be alone in this process. There's going to be a collective of partners and technical assistance experts that are going to be able to support you. But even if you don't know exactly what it's going to look like, it shouldn't deter you from at least applying. This is an opportunity to make sure that our communities have access to green space, have access to nature, are able to revitalize the nature that are already at our disposal. And again, making sure that we're able to tackle multiple scales of justice, whether it's economic, environmental, social, cultural. Like this is an opportunity, and I want to make sure that we all are aware and all have access to it.
Absolutely, man. So for those of you guys who don't know, if you don't know, you won't know. There is a grant out there to help with the reforestation of the DMV, Delaware, and Pennsylvania area. You guys apply. Deadline is February 27th. My brother Tree, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me. I speak nothing but life, peace, and blessings over you. I can't wait to watch you walk the one runway. And last but not least, man, we like to close with words of wisdom for the next generation. So I spoke on, taking, being the leader, taking your destiny into your own hands. What I would hope that you would speak on is maintaining discipline, right? Maintaining your peace as you lead.
Give me a second. Oh, he put me full screen. He put
You
me full
got
screen. He wants
to.
me to take it seriously. You want me to speak on discipline?
Man,
I'm gonna use this moment to be transparent. We might
mhm.
as well hold me accountable. I think that as we grow as human beings and individuals, we take for granted the love that was given for us or given to us. We take for granted the grace that we receive because we may believe that it's going to be there forever. Um, do not take advantage of the opportunity God has blessed you with, and to nurture that opportunity to water your seed. It comes with discipline. Take it from somebody who know, unfortunately. Understanding self-awareness, self-control, mindfulness are all, and in other capacity is very much all you need, because you are worthy to be loved. You are worthy to bloom. You are worthy to grow beyond your imagination, and you deserve it to yourself, to be beyond your own limitation that this world or yourself set on you. So the marathon continues, man. Keep
Amen.
going.
Amen to that. Thank you, brother. Sincerely speaking, I really do appreciate you. Thank you again for joining me. And man, I hope you have a blessed, amazing evening.
Likewise, sir. On to the
Oh,
tomb, champion.
yes, sir. I'm gonna hit you after this.
Hit it.
Yo, you guys, that was so awesome. I um I love every interview. I love the interviews that I have with people that know me, personally in real life. And how they acclimate to the setting that I have, because you guys, I'm a character in person, but when it comes to this thing, this space here, this is a space that I hold, I cherish. This is very near and dear to me, and I love everything I do here. I love helping people out with these interviews, and I love the fact that with this one, an opportunity was extended. So please apply by February 27th. Don't let anything deter you. Um, Meet me here again next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will have another amazing interview. um, I'm Ezel Moon, and I'm not doing it unless it's fun and it helps people. Peace.